Hello, my name is Muhammad AIZAT bin Ali and my metric number is 277091. So today I want to talk about an important issue, which is the employment right of gig workers, because they doesn't have a same right like protection as a regular employees. They also do not get a benefit like health insurance, and they often earn less money than the regular employees. So I believe it is important to support a gig workers' right because everyone deserves to be treated with fairness and respect. So when we fight for their right, we are recognizing their value as a human being and working towards making sure they are not taken advantage of or treated unfairly. It is about treating all workers, no matter what kind of job they have, with dignity and making sure they have a basic right and protection. So, there have been many studies that show gig workers earn a lot less money than a regular employees. On average, they earn 58% less per hour, with a median wage of only $10 per hour compared to $18 for regular workers. Their monthly income is also much lower, with a median of $800 compared to $2,000 for regular workers. This study highlight a big differences in earning between gig workers and regular employees. These wage disparities and income instability that gig workers face are unfair and need to be addressed. By supporting their right, we are taking a moral stand. We are saying that every worker, no matter what kind of job they have, deserve to be treated with fairness and respect. So we need to make sure they are not being taken advantage of and that they have the same right and protection as everyone else. So by supporting a gig workers' right, we are working toward a society that is more fair and just. It is our responsibility to address the wage disparities, income instabilities, and other unfair conditions that gig workers face. Through our action, maybe we can promote fairness, equality, and dignity in the workplace. So we are standing up for what is right and aligning ourselves with a widely recognized moral stand. So in conclusion, I think maybe we can come together and support the right of gig workers, and we need to strive our work where every worker, regardless of their job, is treated fairly and equally. So by addressing the wage disparities and unfair conditions that gig workers face, maybe we are upholding the value of fairness and justice in our society. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Good day, doctor and everyone. I am MAVIS number metric 2771-76. I stand before you to address an important ethical issue, which is employment right of gig worker. In these presentations, I will guide you through the decision-making process of ethnic on how I make my own moral judgment step by step. Now we go into step 1, determine the fact of the situation. I will take some example of factual information surrounding the employment right of gig worker in Malaysia. For instance, 97% of gig workers are engaged in the service sector, with 37% working in the wholesale and retail commercials. However, they face a significant challenge, a lack of social safeguards such as retirement benefit, health insurance, and pay time off. This put gig workers in a precarious financial position during illness or accident, or when faced with a limited employment options. According to a survey conducted by the Economic Policy Institute, gig workers often endure poor working conditions and low pay. All of the information shed light on tracings need to address the challenge faced by gig workers. Next, we going to step to recognize an ethical issue. Based on this fact, we can recognize the ethical issue, which is the unfair treatment and lack of support of gig worker. In order to promote equity and ensure the gig worker receives fair compensation for their work, supporting employment rights become moral imperative. Step 3 is to identify and consider the stakeholder affected by this issue. The stakeholder in the employment's right of gig worker include the gig worker themselves, platform, companies, consumers, society at large, and even the governments make decision making. Then let's move on the 4 steps, considering the available alternative. For example, one alternative is to introduce legislative reform that grant gig workers the legal rights and protection enjoyed by traditional employees. The fifth step requires to compare the weight for alternatives on each stakeholder input. By maintaining the status quo, gig workers will continue to face the financial insecurity, low pay, and limited protections. But consumer can benefit from an improved quality of the service while platform company can contribute to a more sustainable and equitable gig economy. Based on these considerations, I can make my own moral judgment about where there is evidence that supporting the employment right of gig workers are ethical. It's aligned with the principle of fairness and the moral obligations to treat others equitably. Let's go into the final step. When we make a moral decisions, we must evaluate the implications and monitor the outcome. By granting gig worker legal rights and protections, we can promote the equity, fairness, and justice in the commercial files. That's all for my moral judgment presentations. Thank you.
Hello, my name is NURUL BINTI BORHANUDIN. My matric number is 279406. Today I want to talk about the moral judgment on the issue employment right of gig workers. First of all, I support the employment right of gig worker because as a worker, we have the right to get protection and other welfare. In addition, Malaysia is expected to see inclusive and sustainable economic growth in gig economy. So the government must regulate legal protection and care for their welfare for future growth. My moral standard that gig workers were treated unequally because they were not included in employment law, be categorized as self-employed, and their operation also flexible that made people biased to treat them equally as other employees. Regarding the issue, there are some factual information about the employment right of gig workers. These workers had to deal with uncertain finances as their income is unstable. They also have to take fully responsibility when something happens to them, which add more burden. Despite that, they have to take care of their own family and manage other things. Besides having financial problem, they also face problem maintaining regular saving, retirement savings when income is unstable. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia in 2017 survey that 66% of independent contractors lack retirement plans, 33% lack personal financial plans, and 55% had fewer than 3 months of cash reserve. They also encounter difficulty applying for loans since gig workers are not treated equally to full-time employees under outdated credit models. Even if they have a solid track record of success and a steady salary, their alternatives are limited. Furthermore, food delivery drivers in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor also staged a food delivery blackout on August 5, 2022 to protest poor delivery rates and unequal rights. They have been seeking their rights as lawful employees to be acknowledged. My moral judgment is that gig workers were treated unequally and unfairness, not only that the company also exploit them. They will exploit gig workers in order to maximize their own profit. Fortunately, the government has already begun to take action to safeguard gig workers. Beyond Budget 2023, the government has also introduced initiatives to stimulate the gig economy via the Global Online Workforce Program by the Malaysian Digital Economic Corporation. For example, government regulation for retirement plans like the Employee Provident Funds, formerly inaccessible to self-employed, retired, or non-earning people, have recently been modified. With the help of this program, I hope gig workers will have a way to save for their retirement and be recognized for their economic achievement. Last but not least, I support the employment right of gig workers because they must get protection and basic needs as other workers, such as stable income, protection of their welfare, and other benefits as regular employees. It is ethical stand to support them in getting their right as a worker. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good day, my name is Lawaning, matric number 279031, and I represent the moral judgment regarding the employment right of gig workers. The trend toward a gig economy has been increasingly popular and significant in today's digital era. According to EMIR research in 2020, 4 million or around 26% of Malaysia's workforce out of 50.1 million workers were working in the gig economies. Now, the employment right of gig workers has become a popular topic. From my perspective, I fully support that gig workers should provide the same legal protection they are generally enjoyed only by the individual engaged as employee. This because providing adequate and sustainable social protection to the gig workers is essential not only for the worker themselves, but also to safeguard and promote the efficiency of the labor market and fair competition. Additionally, it's also important to ensure that gig workers have access to the full range of social protections. That is the key for their effective access to the healthcare and income security, including in the case of unemployment, injury, sickness, old age, disability, loss of the income providers, and for the maintenance of children. This helps not only to realize their human right to the social security, but it's also a matter of labor market efficiency. Without adequate social protection, workers will find it difficult to find a new and good match in the labor market, which will lead to mismatch and lower productivity. However, there are rising tensions between the aspiration of thousands of workers and the work structure of the gig economy. Many businesses are incentivized to misclassify these employees as independent contractors to minimize the risk and cost. As independent contractors, employees lost their right to minimum pay, work overtime, a healthy and secure work environments, and the protection against harassment and discrimination. According to the International Labour Organization report, the level of social security is poor, with only around 40% of the online platform employees has their health insurance and fewer than 50% having protection against the workplace injury. The factual evidence of unethical practice related to the issues is the case of Law Grab Chains versus My Taxi Sendirian Berhad. The High Court determined that Grab drivers do not qualify as workers as defined by the Industrial Relations Act of 1967 because the contract between Grab and its driver is predominantly a commercial agreement. Therefore, e-hailing drivers are thereby considered independent contractors and do not have the right to hear by the industrial court about Grab claim unjust dismissal. The other factual evidence of unethical practice is Raja versus Uber Technologies. The plaintiffs are Uber drivers who claim that Uber violated state and federal minimum salaries and overtime rules. However, a federal district court of Pennsylvania stated that Uber drivers were not workers protected by the federal minimum wage and overtime law. The moral theory related to the issues are justice and fairness. The distributive justice theory best explains gig workers' morals and financial unfairness. The lens of distributive justice reveals the moral underpinning of context in which essential gig workers expect to receive a fair distribution of economic reward proportional to the value of their work relative to the customer. According to distributive justice theory, the rule of equity should be used by organizations as a basis for allocating the economic outcome that reflect the value of an individual's contribution to the receiving party that benefit from the due labor. The distributive justice perspective shows the moral root of situation in which gig economy requires an equitable distribution of financial advantage commensurate with the value of their work for the client. During all this, gig workers will provide equal legal protections and labor rights of employees, guaranteeing everyone with equal social protections, including employees in all forms of employment, not just a matter of realizing the human right to social security, but it's crucial for creating a level playing field that ensuring platforms and other traditional industries compete fairly. A justice and fair society meet everyone's need for equality, justice, and equitable allocation of goods, wealth, and service to ensure the smooth operation of society. A kind of social justice known as distribution justice aims to guarantee the equitable and appropriate distribution of commodity, monies, and service, but also of the opportunities and the rights.
to Nadia binti MAZLAN, and my matric number is 280154. So for the moral judgment, so from the entire assignment that has been made, I feel that the employment right to gig workers should be given the same as the employment right that others workers get. This will make the workers in the gig worker sector feel more secure with their work if anything happens. So through the section 101C1, any earning received for gig workers that account for the bulk of the worker's income automatically qualifies the person as an employee. So through this act, it also strengthens the certainty for the Malaysian government to recognise gig workers as employee, and they have the right to obtain all the same employment rights. Each of these gig workers also work and contribute the improvement of the Malaysian economy, but their treatment is not same as employees. This shows that our country's employment industry is not fair in the implementation of employment rights towards this sector. So next, with the existing solid facts about the employment rights of gig workers, I confidently agree that the employment rights should be given to the gig workers. Gig workers and employees should get the same treatment for their employers. They should receive fair compensation and protections. If these issues are still maintained, then gig workers in the future will also accept the same fates, while the current trend of gig workers is one of the opportunity for the people to work. So once again, I want to emphasize the employment rights should be given to the gig workers just like what employees get from their employers. That's all from me. Thank you.